Good morning. Right. It's wonderful to see everyone here today for a truly wonderful purpose, and it took darn near everybody who's in the room to make this happen as well. So I truly appreciate you sharing your time with us this morning and a lot of your time to get us into this room to achieve what we're here for today. To start our program off, I am very pleased to introduce, and with great appreciation to the Morris County Sheriff's Office, the presentation of colors and our national anthem. Okay, please be seated. I'm a little biased, but I have to tell you, we have the best sheriff in the state of New Jersey, around the country, and we have an exemplary sheriff's office as well, so truly appreciate their being with us today. I would tell you, when I got up, I was headed out. My wife is, some of you know, a kindergarten teacher. She said, "Tony, where are your good glasses today?" I said, "I don't have any good glasses. They're all $2.99, but for this one, I scaled up to the $4 cheapies." So she said, "I'll be watching your live streaming," so I just wanted to assure her of that when I get home tonight she sees that. What a day, and what a great body of work to get us into this room today. Some of Morris County's finest people are here. We have visitors from around the state who are here with us, and it takes that to really drive the kind of progress that people deserve and need. That's what it's all about. I'm Tony Iacono, president for County College of Morris, and I'm just going to make some introductory remarks and then turn this over to some people who are going to bring you some truly important information and some regards from around the state and so forth as well. I cannot possibly think of a more important group to serve than our veterans. And as we said when we hosted the Vietnam Memorial Wall this summer at the request and support of those veterans, anything we could possibly do for our veterans and their families is a small, small token of appreciation by comparison of what they have done for this nation and for the communities that we all enjoy living in. So this was done with you at the center of our hearts and as an effort to share back. This is a large, powerful grant that will absolutely change lives and transform communities. And you'll be hearing more about that from my friend, Dr. Kennedy, shortly as well. Today helps us all honor our missions, whether you're a part of a college, a manufacturing extension program, the head of a community college system, federal representation, county representation, or what have you. We all share that joint mission of caring for others and moving things forward in a progressive and positive manner, and it does that. And today absolutely wouldn't have happened without tremendous partnerships. So I'm going to mention some of the major supporters of today. I may not hit every individual, but do know we appreciate you if you're in this room today, and some folks who weren't able to be here today as well. So I will start with New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program. This is their grant. People keep asking me, how did you get it? Because I have a good friend named John Kennedy. John will tell you how he got it, okay? But I will tell you he also got it with strong federal support. It's a federal grant, and you cannot obtain these without federal support. And Congresswoman Cheryl Miscali-Doucette is here to represent them today. We're essential in this as well. State support. You know, I will always pick up my telephone when Senator Bucco, one of our state reps, calls, and I'm very, very grateful that they always pick up theirs and support us continuously as well. We would not be in this building today if it wasn't for our state representatives. Half of the funding from the building came from the state, half from the county, and both come with a progressive spirit of, you know, we need to be an economic engine. We need to really make sure there are great jobs available. I'm a big believer, and I'll paraphrase in Ronald Reagan's quote from the early 80s, that the purpose of education has to be for a public good. And while education has many endpoints, two of those at least is to have an educated citizenry and also that people can have jobs and care for themselves and their families. This grant does that, all right? We have remarkable county support, and we work hand in glove with them almost on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times of the day. And so I'm very, very grateful for the continued support across the county, and I'm going to highlight some of those individuals who are with us as well. And then unbelievable community support, and a lot of that opened up by Senator Bucco and Commissioner Krikis and our commissioners as well. Emerson Crooks is with us today. Dave, I see you back there. We have some of our veterans. We're committed to serving and supporting our veterans at this college. I know we are through the community, and we really, really got on the right track to bolster those relationships. More than a year ago, I got a call from Senator Bucco saying, there's a group that wants to bring the moving Vietnam Memorial Wall. Will you come to my office and meet with them? And I have, what Emerson and Dave and others have taught me is profound, and together we're doing a lot of really, really good work. So thank you for working alongside of us, for always coming out when we need you, and for educating us and helping us better understand what do today's veterans need, what do today's veterans' families need. We have moved forward exponentially because of you, gentlemen, and we appreciate that greatly. Our board chair had planned to be here. He flew in from Chicago last night and woke up very ill this morning, but he does send his regards. So on behalf of CCM's chairman of the board, George Malonis, I give you his regards. Our vice chair, Paul Lasitra, who is a veteran and a strong proponent of these programs, had to be out of country today. So he is not with us, but has sent me an email asking that I also share his regards with you as well. We do have with us State Senator Tony Bucco, who many of you know. And we also have today an honored guest. We have State Senator Mike Testa with us also. I get to work with Senator Bucco continuously, and have had a few occasions to work with Senator Testa, and the first time I met him was remarkably impressed. He's the co-chair of New Jersey's Manufacturing Caucus. I was at a CINJ event about a year or so ago, and Senator Testa gave a group of us a very large amount of time and really listened to us about what does the manufacturing community need. Now, you'll find when you talk to him, he's a great listener, but it's remarkable how much he knows about manufacturing and where things are going. So if you ever want to move up, we have great representation. They're wonderful to work with, and we're always happy to have you. But no, the longest commute today, no doubt, and thank you for making that commute. We're honored to have you here as an honored guest today as well. We do have Kelly Doucette, who is here with us from Congresswoman Sherrill's office, and also a great supporter of us. Please extend our gratitude to the Congresswoman as well. We have certainly Dr. John Kennedy, the head of the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program. John is a tremendous visionary and had met with me shortly after I arrived, and a lot of what's happening today is not today. It's years and years in thought and design in motion, and today is the fruition of that work and the start of a new venture, so to speak. And in the back we have John's incoming soon-to-be successor, Pete Conley, who will be heading up NJMEP as well. To my left over here we have Dr. Aaron Fichtner, also an incredible visionary, former Commissioner of Labor under Governor Christie, and now the President of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. He's going to talk to you a little bit later about NJ Pathways and how that's transforming our state as well. We do have Lance Lopez, our Veterans and Community Relations Coordinator for NJMEP. I believe the sheriff will be joining us a little bit later. He had notified that he'd be coming in today as well. And I believe we have with us Lieutenant Colonel Alex Burgos, who confirmed earlier. There he is in the back. Welcome, sir. Garrison Commander for Picatinny Arsenal. And then we have a number of manufacturers who are here with us today. I believe we have representation from Norwalt, from Weiss AUG, and from many others. And then we have representatives from NJBIA, NJBiz, and other members of the press as well. Most importantly, we have veterans with us today, and without whom we would not be focused on this work, but it truly is our honor. So to those individuals, you'll have a chance to hear from Mr. Emerson Crooks. We again thank you. We appreciate you for what you've done, and we look forward to working continuously and collaboratively with you on all of this work as well. It's now my pleasure, and if you would join me in welcoming to the podium Dr. John Kennedy.
Jersey boy, Morris County boy. 2 Madison Dodgers at least here. And to be honest with you, I have pictures of being on this property when there was just a mud hole. My dad worked for PSE&G, and before there were buildings, there was a huge mud hole, and that was a blast for like a 10-year-old to play on. You might remember him, John. My AP physics teacher in high school, Wild Bill Booker, and I remember him telling me that nothing happens in a vacuum. When I asked him, you know, what does that mean? Is that a science thing? And he said, no, that's a life thing. And that's the reality. As Tony said, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of this stuff has been going on for many years. And, you know, Tony Bucco, Steve Oraho, and people like, you know, Senator Mike Testa have done a lot of work to try to get us to these points. Manufacturing is very big in New Jersey, a lot larger than people think. Almost 11,000 companies, 350,000 employees, and there's 40,000 gap. These are an average paying $97,000 per year. I hear that's pretty good. You know, I would have killed for that job. But these are the realities of what's happening. Where we came to realize some of this stuff was during COVID. Things changed, right? We started looking at reshoring. We started looking about supply chain. We started looking about, you know, what was happening in the federal, the DOD. Situations around the world are changing us. And we have 1,700 companies in this state that do DoD work, right? Some of the state programs that are ongoing, how do we get more NJ content into it? Let's make it in New Jersey first. Pennsylvania can come later, but Jersey first. During the pandemic, we did a lot of research on programs, what companies needed, a lot of feedback we got. And what we found was that there was about 5 main things, but the 2 top ones, number 2 was companies wanted some, help in buying new equipment, capital equipment, advanced manufacturing equipment. So this past year, we got over $30 million into the budget to do that. And EDA did a phenomenal job in rolling out the NJMEP MVP program. Roy, I think you guys got some of that, did you? Yes. Yeah, that's Weiss-Aug from just down the street. I know that Norwalk got some of that as well. $30 million, that's a good investment. Personally, it's not enough, but it's a good investment. The second place is that we can't find people into our industry because people aren't exposed to it. So there's been a lot of things that have gone on, and what happened was that there was a lot of push from people like our DOL Commissioner, Rob Osaro-Angelo, and Nick Toth, and the Pace and Gains grants that became positive influences on pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship, but they didn't attach well to manufacturing. And that's when we stepped back a little bit. I was asked to head a committee on the SETC. Patrick, you were on the committee, Patrick Enright from CCM, and a lot of others, and we tried to figure out a way to do that. And it went back to stuff that when Aaron Fichtner was the commissioner, I remember coming to him and he asked me, why aren't you guys working better with the county colleges? I said, they don't want to work with us, and they didn't. But he said, I said, I've got an idea. He said, write it down. So I wrote a white paper and gave it to Aaron, and Aaron said to me, he goes, really looks good, not enough. Okay. Didn't get forgotten by Aaron. A few years later, when he came over to the County College Consortia, the Pathways model was born and on steroids. And what does this mean? Well, there has to be on-ramps and off-ramps, number one for people, because not everybody's built the same way or has the same life. So we have foundational training programs. We have advanced manufacturing training. And these are all tied into, I want to get them hired by companies because they need them, but I also want them to be in a position to get an associate's degree and then maybe a bachelor's degree. We need more engineers in this country. We don't produce enough. We really, Pete will smile at me, but we don't produce enough, and that's important to what we do. This Pathways model is something important, and it's moving forward. We piloted it. So then we come to, I get a call from, we had gotten several OLDCC grants, and I'm not gonna tell you what OLDCC means because I'll butcher it, but it's a DoD program, and it works with communities. And I got a call, and they said, John, why don't you guys go after it? And I said, yeah, we'd love to with a workforce development grant. He goes, we never give those out. I said, okay. Torsten Szymanski, Christian Medway, we worked together and we tried to figure this out, and we went after it. And then about 5:30 one morning, I called Tony and said, hey, Tony, would you go? And before I got it, he goes, whatever you want, we're on board. And that's what we needed. And we secured a 5-year, $5 million training grant for advanced manufacturing for veterans, veterans' families, and underserved population. That's 600 freaking people. That's a lot of people to give a better shot at careers. That's the reality. But again, none of this happens in a vacuum. It's all the pieces, and we got to keep continuing to do this. We got to keep working together. We need companies to engage more. Because you know what? Companies tell they can't get people, but then they don't. They're afraid to take a chance. Take a chance. We're going to train people. Yes, they need the foundational stuff, but we're going to get them welding, machining, engineering technologies, logistics, whatever our county colleges can bring with us, starting with CCM, and then we may drift down to South Jersey. I hear that's a, oh, I'm sorry. Actually, he can't leave, he's got to get special dispensation to leave Morris County. But the reality is that that's the whole point. And to be honest with you, I'm proud of what we've accomplished with this stuff. But remember, this doesn't stop. I am stepping down as CEO on the 1st of June. Pete Connolly's the new vision, and he's going to take it to another level. And he's got great team members. I know that Stephanie's here, Stephanie Casano, who heads our workforce development stuff. Larry Banks, who's our driving force with the high schoolers and the pre-apprenticeship model. But then we also have people like Lance Lopez, who's one of ours and our veteran, and he's the project manager behind this. And Lisa Brett, who's another Morris County person, is gonna be that liaison at CCM. These are all the pieces that have to come together. But if we don't talk about it, if we don't shout about it, nothing changes. And I'm thankful to Congresswoman Cheryl and to you, Kelly, because we sent a lot of, I don't know who sends you those early morning texts. Couldn't be me, but she supported this because the reality was they never did a workforce development grant before. They're doing the first with us, and we're going to make it work. And we're going to make it work here at CCM, and then we're going to drive it across the state because of people like Tony, Patrick, and Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and Team MEP as well. John's secret is we're both up very, very early in the morning, so he likes to ask for things between 4 and 5 a.m. You're not going to say no. Our college is always committed. Find a way to yes is where we go all the time. And I came to work one morning on his story and he said, Tony said yes for whatever you need. I came in and told Patrick Enright, our VP for instruction, and our Dr. Karina Bell, our Assistant VP for Workforce, said, I just committed us to John Kennedy. They said, what'd you commit to? I said, I'm not exactly sure. I heard 2 things that I liked, veterans and jobs, and that's what we're here to do, and so forth. But it's your leadership, John, really driving so much of this, so thank you. 2 individuals I did not recognize and want to recognize. They are exemplary leaders in Morris County, good models for around the state, also, and tremendous supporters of County College of Morris. In fact, one is one of our alum, and that's our county clerk, Ms. Ann Grossi, is here with us today. And our county surrogate, who was a commissioner at the time, was very active in helping with this building, including giving some ideas on the design of the building, which we implemented as well. And that's Ms. Heather Darling is with us also. Thank you. Okay, and I'd like to introduce now Kelly Doucette on behalf of United States Representative Mikey Sherrill. Kelly?
Thanks so much, Dr. Iacona and Dr. Kennedy. I'm so happy to be here today for this exciting announcement and to read the following statement from the Congresswoman. After voting to authorize the Defense Manufacturing Community Support Program in the National Defense Authorization Act, I was proud to lead support for NJMEP's application to bring this funding to New Jersey. It is exciting to see this next step with the creation of the New Jersey Defense Manufacturing Community Consortium and the incredible partnerships involved in bringing this to fruition, and I look forward to following the progress. American innovation leads the world. In recent years, we have invested in reshoring American manufacturing, invested in research and development, infrastructure and security, and developing areas like high-end semiconductor chips. The early results speak for themselves. America's manufacturing sector has seen a resurgence over the past 2 years. We gained 385,000 manufacturing jobs in 2021 and 396,000 jobs in 2022, the largest annual manufacturing job gains since 1994. And in New Jersey, which has had such a long, proud history as a leading hub of American innovation, we are mirroring those trends. In fact, 2021 and 2022 were the 2 best years for manufacturing job growth in our state since the early 1990s. We must keep fueling this growth with a well-trained workforce. This consortium that's launching today will train hundreds of veterans and their family members for careers in the defense manufacturing ecosystem. It is an innovative and effective way to do just that, providing the skilled workforce we need while offering the opportunity for stable, good-paying jobs for our veterans. Here in Morris County, we know the opportunity that the defense manufacturing sector provides, with Picatinny Arsenal and the industrial base that has grown up to support its work all around us. In 2020, New Jersey received over $8 billion in federal defense spending, equal to 1.3% of the state's GDP. It is an important and growing area of our economy, not just here in NJ11, but statewide. So you can see why I'm excited about the potential of this program to help our veterans and our defense manufacturing economy thrive here in New Jersey. At the end of last year, I hosted a Veterans Advisory meeting focused on this program to help get the word out in the veterans community. My team and I are here to continue to support you as you move forward in any way that we can. I'm sorry not to be here with you today, but I hope you have a wonderful day celebrating the announcement of this partnership. Thanks again to CCM and NJMEP and everyone working together to make this a reality. Take care, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill. Thank you.
Okay, very, very pleased to introduce, we have an outstanding delegation in Morris County, and certainly none finer than our state senator is with us today. If there is a need for a child, a veteran, or this community, he's here, and he's here today. Senator, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Iacona. It's always great to be at CCM. You know, where else can an Italian guy like me get bagpiped into the facility? I mean, you know, it just doesn't get any better than that, especially the last name of Bucco, right? So, you know, Dr. Kennedy said it perfectly. You know, days like today just don't happen. It takes everybody rowing in the same direction, right? It takes great leadership at the federal level, at the state level, at the county level, at the local level, at the community, NJMEP, right? It takes folks working together, even across the aisle. And you don't see that a lot, but we have it here in Morris County. And that's why facilities like this thrive. That's why we're able to provide students with opportunities and veterans with opportunities that they may not find in other places. And we need to replicate that around the state, right? I would say a little bit about NJMEP. When I was in the Assembly, I was called when the New Jersey Manufacturing Caucus, the Legislative Manufacturing Caucus, was formed, and I was asked to sit on it. Some of you may know that my father owned a manufacturing plant, adhesives plant in Patterson, my late father, and you know, he was up at the crack of dawn every day at that plant, and he recognized early in his career, when he used to try to get me up to do something, he said, "Son, you're not going to make it in manufacturing. You're not out of bed early enough. You should be a lawyer." So that's why I went to law school. But I can't say enough about what John has done with NJMEP. You know, we were losing a lot of great manufacturing jobs around the state. And John brought us all together, both sides of the aisle, and put us on a tremendous caucus. And we worked really hard to make it easier for folks to do business here, to eliminate a lot of the red tape, and to educate folks about manufacturing careers. You know, a lot of parents look at manufacturing and they may think, you know what, that's not for my son or daughter. I know I'm going into this plant and, you know, working in a grimy place. That's not it. That's not it. Take a walk around this facility and you see the robotics and the stuff that's happening today with technology. And I can tell you, my good friend Mike Testa is here, and he now serves as the chair in the Senate on that caucus. And he is a rising star in our party, and he has done a phenomenal job. And as I assume a leadership role in the Senate, I look to him for advice on what we need to do in the manufacturing area. You know, at the county level, we've got freeholders that are here and supportive. I mean, that's what it takes. And our veterans are here all the time, recognizing the importance of the community college. And this program will do great things for everyone, for students, for veterans. You know, I'm so proud of what the county and my district has done for veterans. I'm so proud that this facility is located in my district. Picatinny Arsenal, located in my district. Two major employers. And two major places of providing opportunities, defense of our country, and educating our students and our veteran population. And this grant will give those opportunities to a workforce, veterans, who are often leave the military trained in technology. It is an absolute perfect fit. And so many veterans and their families are going to benefit from this $5 million and the work that everybody put together. And that's a great thing for those families to be able to put a meal on their table and to be secure and buy a home. But it's also a great thing for our community and our economy, because that's what drives our nation. That's what drives our nation. So I'm honored to be a small little part of that team that helps these things come together. And I couldn't be prouder of NJMEP and all the folks that worked for this grant and for the County College of Morris for what they've done here in Randolph for this community. And I was talking with my colleague, Senator Testa, just before, you know, and we weren't together more than 3 minutes before he said to me, we've got to replicate this all over the state. We've got to replicate this all over the state. And I know with his help and working together, we'll be able to do that. So thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. And if you would, please join me in welcoming our special and honored guest today, the head of the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, or, sorry, John, of the Manufacturing Caucus, or actually, sorry, Pete, things changed. You didn't get the email? We had a little deal earlier. Head of the New Jersey Manufacturing Caucus and one of our state's most outstanding leaders. Senator?
This is when it's fun to be a legislator in the state of New Jersey. You know, with all of the partisan politics that you see play out on social media and in the media in general, this is when you see that there are bipartisan partnerships to make things work. And as the representative from the Congresswoman, thank you for being here. It truly takes a village to make something like this happen, especially in the state of New Jersey, where unfortunately there is quite a bit of red tape. And that's what we're trying to cut through without all of our businesses. I have a lot of people to thank for even having me be up here today. I have to thank our current Senate Minority Leader, Steve Oraho. When you're outside of the room sometimes, you get appointed to things. That's kind of what happened. I got a call. They said, hey, you're going to be the co-chair of the Manufacturing Caucus. I said, great. This is wonderful. What do I have to do? They said, well, you're going to be working with this guy named John Kennedy, and he's relentless. I said, I like people that are relentless. I said, I hope he's a little crazy too. They said, well, then you're in luck, Testa. They said, you're in luck. And I said, I hope he's a guy that doesn't take no for an answer. They said, you guys are going to get along famously. So what I would like to do, and the reason I said to my phenomenal colleague, thank you for having me here, Senator, in your backyard, is that I do want to replicate this. And you kind of stole my line about the bagpipes, I have to say. You didn't know that, you did, but there's a few things I want to take back with me to Cumberland County. You know, if you have any colleagues that play the bagpipes, sir, if you're still here, give me a ring, let me know. I'd like to have more bagpipes in Cumberland and Cape May counties. But what I'd really like to do is see Rowan College of South Jersey replicate this. You know, it's about a 2.5-hour drive for me to get here. So I'm calling this sort of the North Pole. We need the South Pole as well for manufacturing. You know, I've learned so much being involved in the manufacturing caucus. And I gave a speech, and I've told John this story before, about bringing jobs to South Jersey. And I think it was for the Chamber of Commerce of South Jersey, which is run by a very good friend of mine, went to the same high school I did a few years behind me. And I was giving a speech, and I thought I knocked it out of the park. I thought I did a great job. And this mother comes up to me, and she says, "I need to speak to you, Mr. Senator." I said, "Okay, sure, you know, let me go grab a coffee and we'll talk." So she follows me, and she says, "You keep on mentioning jobs for New Jersey." She said, "My 2 sons don't need jobs." I said, "They don't?" She said, "They need careers." And I was ready to fire my political side marketing machine and was ready to hire her because her messaging was directly on point. And it opened my eyes as to what the needs were, especially of South Jersey, but all of New Jersey. You know, my county, Cumberland County, has been ranked one of the 2 poorest counties in the state for the last 25 years. And I started talking to John, saying, you know, I really get what you're trying to do, because this was new. I was brand new in the manufacturing caucus. And he said, "Well, Michael, do you know that the average salary in manufacturing in the state of New Jersey," and at the time it was $94,000, now it's $97,000, it's $97,000 per year. And I started to think, I said, $97,000 per year. I said, that's a living wage without the mountain of college debt that gets accumulated by our young folks or people who are returning maybe from the service or who are deciding to go into a second career later in life. Otherwise, people are met with that ceiling when they get into a job, a never-ending, dead-end job. And John, you mentioned that there's about a 40,000 job position gap right now in manufacturing in the state. And there's a lot of glass factories down near me still in Cumberland County. And so many of them say to me, if I had 20 qualified people to operate this machinery, I'd hire all 20 tomorrow. And I realize that there's a need. And what's happening right here, Doctor, is incredible. You're working hand in hand with the employers, finding out what their needs are so that young people aren't coming here and just getting a certificate or a degree and not being employable. These folks are actually getting phenomenal careers in manufacturing, which may result in a 2-year degree, which may result in the manufacturer themselves, as you've taught me so well, John, paying for that 4-year degree. It's incredible. And the reason I know what a Bridgeport is, the reason I know what a CNC machine is, the reason I know what so much of this equipment that is utilized, the reason I know what TIG welding is, what MIG welding is because I've been touring a lot of the manufacturing facilities with the NJMEP team and finding out, what do you need? Because you can be a phenomenal representative like my good friend Tony's father was for so many years, like Senator Bucco has been for all the years he was in the Assembly and in the Senate. Your phone can be open, but if you don't have the information to go to the state, I sit on the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee and say, manufacturing needs this. It's not going to work. We're all operating in our own silos. Just today I was told, in the parking lot as I came in, well, maybe I was already in the vestibule, and we're going to do another budget resolution today. They're due today, by the way, just so we know. They're due today, but we're going to get a budget resolution in by this afternoon because of an open conversation about manufacturing and what we need to get done in this state. This is incredible. So I don't want to repeat what everybody has already said. I've already, hopefully incorporating that into my argument here, as I like to say to judges, Heather, you know, your surrogate and I go way back to our law school and weightlifting days. And so those are usually times when I'll say to the judge, you know, I already put this in the brief. I don't need to argue this. Hopefully you've read it already. So you've already heard great words from all the people that spoke before me. But we know this, that partnerships between NJMEP, community colleges like this are now vital to the growth, expansion, and future viability of manufacturing in the state of New Jersey. You know, the way I come to Trenton every day, not you, Tony, I get to see the sign every time I pull into Trenton. Trenton makes and the world takes. For so many years, I was afraid that we were going to have to take that sign down until I really got involved with the NJMEP and said, hey, wait a minute. There are so many vital manufacturers that are producing great widgets throughout the state of New Jersey, whatever it is that they're doing. But without the necessary vocational and educational training, those businesses cannot thrive, and New Jersey will unfortunately continue to shrink its manufacturing industry. But we're going to do everything we can to make sure that it grows. I can tell you as a legislator, I'm trying to cut through a lot of the red tape with colleagues such as our current leader, Senator Oroho, our future leader, Senator Bucco. He's become a near and dear friend before I was ever involved. That's a whole nother story where we just happen to be sitting next to each other at a phenomenal bar at Cafe 2825 in Atlantic City eating a great meal. Probably about 4 years ago today, you know, almost, because it was at the State Bar Association, which is happening now. I'd like to address our veterans that are in the audience here. For those that don't know, my grandparents met in a Nazi concentration camp, freed by Allied soldiers. Without our veterans, I'm quite literally not standing before you. Thank you. You know, our upcoming Memorial Day services, I think of the great Americans who have come before us, that have allowed us to live in the greatest nation the world has ever known. And I still remember, I was born in '76, but I still remember that sticker that used to come on some American-made products, proudly made in the USA. And people only think that that Pittsburgh steel symbol is on the Steelers' side of their helmet. That actually used to be U.S. Steel, right, in Pittsburgh, proudly made in the USA. Well, guess what? There wouldn't be a USA if it weren't for gentlemen like those seated in the second row. So I just want to thank you again. Veterans have provided their abilities, knowledge, and experience to technology and various manufacturing industries. There's actually a direct tie-in to what they've done and what they've worked with their time in the military to our manufacturing. I believe all industries have been blessed with their expertise and competency, which is just one singular factor why our manufacturing industry is in fact so strong. Today I want to take this occasion to honor all of our veterans and to recognize the sacrifices that they have made and they continue to make, so we can celebrate the grand opening of the County College of Morris Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering Center. In closing, as a proud New Jersey State Senator and co-chair of the New Jersey Manufacturing Caucus, and getting to serve with great men like Senator Tony Bucco, I am so pleased to be a part of today's grand opening, and I look forward to all of the successes that this new center will bring to the manufacturing industry and to the people of New Jersey. And I hope and pray that I can replicate this right near my home in Legislative District 1 in what I call the real South Jersey. God bless you all, God bless our veterans, and God bless America. Thank you.
Those are wonderful words, and I know with Senator Bucco, Senator Testa, they are definitely men of action, not words only. So the words encourage us, and what you've done already has moved things forward considerably. Thank you for your continued work as well. And the news about the resolution makes all of our hearts sing, and I haven't seen Dr. Fickner look this happy since he was 9. So, very, very pleased to introduce our county's great visionary and an individual who pulls us together frequently. Please welcome our Commissioner Director, John Krikis.
Thank you very much, Dr. Iacona. And I want to welcome you all to the best run county in New Jersey by far, by far. We have a long list that I won't go through of number ones and number twos. And we're obviously going to focus on our education here. And we've done this all with the second lowest county tax rate in the state. So you can see here, we like results, but we're also very frugal. And what I would suggest, senators, you don't have to move up here, but maybe what we can do is, there's something magical here in Morris County. And maybe what we could do is we fill a couple water bottles up. You can take them down and drink from them to get some of whatever's in the air and the water here in Morris County. It makes us so well run. You know, our focus here today is on County College of Morris, but I also want to mention the vocational vocational school district and a wonderful job that they do. These are both nationally recognized institutions, and the Morris County Commissioners have prioritized investments in County College of Morris, CCM, and Morris Votech as centers for cutting-edge knowledge, educational facilities that provide direct paths, and I use the word paths, to New Jersey's leading institutions, because you can not only go to Votech and come here and train in your junior and senior year, you can then decide I can go work, or let me continue with County College of Morris. And by the way, I entered County College of Morris with 18 credits for my junior and senior year. And then you can decide after getting your associate's degree, do I want to go to work, use my skills in a career, or do I want to continue on with one of, 50 institutions that we have a shared agreement with? So there are paths to success here. And then later in life, like myself, when I needed some extra credits to take the CPA exam, you can come here for additional courses to get, to improve your career. So among the investments we've made, and actually I'm very pleased to see, you'll see some of them scrolling through here, is the building we're in now, an $11 million investment in this advanced manufacturing center. You also have coming attractions, a $5 million investment in the entrepreneurship program and culinary center. And we are also going to invest $25 million. And again, this is with our state funding. So centers, I appreciate the state funding, as well as county funding, which is not just capital, but ongoing operating funding that we've increased the past year. $25 million for a 500 student expansion of our vocational school district. So that'll be in careers like manufacturing, like healthcare, like cybersecurity. We could use that these days, right? And I was speaking with Dr. Iacona and some of the other members of CCM here about, I'm sure soon we'll be having artificial intelligence programs, because that is going to be the future. These initiatives will expose students to the latest technology and equipment, preparing a workforce for the future. And as I talked about, in manufacturing, healthcare, cybersecurity, logistics, and soon to come AI. Morris County, I'm going to slip in a couple of the number ones here, has the lowest unemployment rate in the state and the highest incomes, in no minor part due to the efforts of CCM and Votech. Here today, we have county, state, federal officials of both parties. We have private, public sector, and that's really great to see. And why? Well, I had the honor to serve in the Marine Corps. We were used to express loudly. We were highly motivated, truly dedicated. I'll stop there. And I see here today, we are all united and motivated by the needs of our veterans, for a skilled workforce, which means a strong economy, and that ultimately protects our country and the values we hold dear, not only for the United States, but for countries around the world. I want to thank Congresswoman Cheryl, you, Kelly, as a representative for the advocacy for these funds. I want to thank the NJMEP for all the efforts that you are doing in obtaining these funds and helping administer the program. I want to thank the manufacturers who are here present. In the workforce, I was a data analytics, which really changed over time, which kind of a primitive form of artificial intelligence, the way AI is going to work. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And again, I want to thank our state legislators for all the work that you do and the funding that you have supported in all the investments that I just discussed. And a big thank you to the CCM community, to Dr. Iacona, who's under your leadership, Morris County is a hub for educational and career success and providing a skilled workforce for major New Jersey industries today and into the future. Finally, a big thank you to our veterans. Morris County next week will announce an expansion of our veteran services. It was the greatest honor of my life to wear the uniform of a United States Marine. And, you know, Emerson, I remember when I got on the board, you said, John, I'm so proud to see a Marine up there. And I'm thinking, Emerson, you're proud of me. I'm 100 times proud of you and your service. And it's an honor to call you a brother Marine. It's wonderful now to see how veterans are treated today, the way they should be, the way any society should treat our veterans. And we're thankful for this program to not only help veterans, but their families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Director. And now my great pleasure to introduce one of our veteran leaders who has truly guiding our college, helping us expand, and a big voice in our community also. Before I introduce him, I want to say on behalf of all of us, again, to our veterans, thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued leadership as well. We see you, and we appreciate you. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Emerson Crooks.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone that's here in the room today. And I want to thank you because you're here to show that you're willing to invest your time and your resources in supporting veterans. And that's very dear to me. I hear a lot of people sometimes say, thank you for your service. But this is the real thanks, because this is thanks that keeps giving. And this is a cause that's really needed. I serve on the Veterans Advisory Council at the Lions VA Hospital. And so I have the opportunity to be in the trenches and in the gutters to see what is really going on behind the scene, the things that you don't see every day. We have hundreds of veterans that are unemployed that live on the campus and the domiciliaries there. And if you talk to most of them, you'll find that when you come back from a combat situation, which is something some of us in the room are very familiar with, life changes for you. There's a readjustment period where it requires the support of your community. Now, being a Vietnam vet and a combat vet, I'm very proud of it. I have my colleague back there, David Cathcart, who I've known for many years. I understand and I know the difference, and I could see the difference today in how the community is supporting veterans and the things that are going into supporting veterans. And I really appreciate that, because you really don't want to have another generation of veterans like many of my colleagues, the guys that I serve with. And the things that you're doing here today will help to alleviate some of that. Now, not all of us are in the domiciliary, but most of us went through a period of time like that and managed somehow to pull ourselves out and pull ourselves up and come up. And this way I could even stand in front of you today and talk to a body of folks like you, leaders in our community. I don't prepare written speeches, because what I have to say, I say from my heart. I speak from my life experience and my exposure. And I think that it's a little bit more effective, because sometimes a lot of folks have never experienced these type of things, you know. I know that someone once said the world that we create is definitely a product of our thinking. And so it is a really great thing to see that our thinking about veterans have changed so much that we can now create a better world and get our veterans to easier incorporate into the rest of society, because that's really, really the challenge that we have when we come back. And I noticed that war is war, and the things that are different between today's war is technology. They have different technology, there's different terrains and so forth, but at the end of the day, there's one common thing. The human experience is the same. The mental experience. So what happened is we're able to mentor some of our young veterans based on our experience on the human side. And we have fun talking about the advancements in weaponry and how they'll make fun of us that we're one step above the Pony Express type of thing and that sort of thing. So we do have a great relationship with our young veterans, try to mentor them, but because we understand what goes on in here, we're able to reach a young veteran by looking them in the eye, because guess what? I know what's in your head. If he's suicidal and he's thinking about wandering around the country, not trying to find himself, I could say, yes, I know what's in your head, because I've been there. And they respect that, and then they'll listen to you. I'd like to see us foster a relationship with the VA hospital so that some of those young guys that's down there that's living in the domiciliary with a sense of hopelessness can find hope. Manufacturing is an important thing. I mean, we started losing our grounds when we started thinking more about the profit side, and so we wind up shipping all our manufacturing to people who never meant us any good. And we need to be able to take that back and bring it back here to the States. And we have the resources. Veterans are a great resource because they come with discipline. They may not, a lot of manufacturers, we run job fairs. And at the job fairs, all the big companies show up, AT&T, everybody shows up, and they take pictures. You know, we're at a veterans fair, you know, we're at a fair trying, and they hire, no one gets hired. So when you go back to them, you say, well, what happened? We had hundreds of guys here. You mean you couldn't find one? And they'll say, well, yeah, there was a lot of fine young men, but they just didn't have the hard skills that we were looking for. This will provide that. And then so they'll have no excuses. And the one thing that you'll find, okay, so maybe they may not have the skill in your particular discipline, but what they do have is discipline, self-discipline. They have ethics, work ethics. And like my colleague John here says, we're tenacious, we're motivated. And Dr. Icone, who's really committed to veterans, and my good friend Anthony Bucco, a good example of being tenacious was bringing the wall to County College. About 10 years ago, I started that whole idea of bringing the wall to County College, spoke to Tony here, and he never let it go. He never let it go. He was just as tenacious as I am about that. And so years later, he said to me, Emerson, and I do say that maybe I might misquote you, and I says, oh, you were bugging everyone about this wall. What about the wall? Let's get the wall going. And he says, I'll bring my good friend, Anthony Icone, over. We could sit down and talk about how we can make it happen. And we made it happen. And guess what? It was one of the best things that happened in our community because it brought our entire community together. It even brought people from South Jersey to come up. And I'm just told, yeah, we liked it so much, we're going to try to replicate and do it in our community. So you see, we're a great example for the South Jersey folks. We set examples for them. So, so again, you know, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Anthony Icone, our great president. This is a great county that we live in. We're extremely fortunate to be living in, and this is a great time to be living. People are cast doubt, you know, on the times we're living in. It's a great time where a lot of stuff happening. Like I say, I don't write speeches, but because one of the important elements is that we can all get together and make great things happen. And I thank you for having me, and thank you for having me up here saying what I am saying, and I hope it makes sense to you. You know, well, I mentioned before that why the wall was so important to me is 5 of my squad members were on that. And when we talk about squad members, these are people that you eat with, sleep with, argue with, fight, carry on with all the time, and then you go out on a mission and then you're like one person. And then when you lose 5 of them one night, you know, you never recover from it. I haven't recovered from it. But, and so having the wall here with their names on it, I live right up the street from here. And it meant so much to me, and that's why I really love the folks here at the County College, and my good friend Anthony. I thank you again. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Thank you, Emerson. Our next speaker is certainly no stranger to our campus and has been with us several times, always advocating and working tirelessly on behalf of our veterans. Please join me in welcoming Lance Lopez.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Doctor. Really, really, really appreciate it. I won't belabor what has already been spoken. However, I am happy to be a 90% disabled veteran who is taking much pleasure in serving our veteran community. It's very important and near and dear to my heart that all of my adult life that I have been serving our veteran communities by helping them in every way possible and whatever I can do for our veteran community. I'd like to thank our CEO, John Kennedy, for his visionary, his leadership, him seeing what he saw in me to have enough gumption in seeing me to lead this program for New Jersey MEP. It is a great honor to serve our veterans community and upskilling our veterans and their families. I just want to say a lot of times people talk about our veterans and our veteran community, but they are misinformed or don't see the other part of our veterans community, which is their families, their spouses, their children. Those are individuals who serve our country as well. Maybe not in the same way, but the service to our country is just the same. So what this $5 million grant does, it allows us to upskill those individual family members who travel from state to state being deployed with those veterans in our country to different states. It allows us to train them for this upskilling opportunity for when they travel to another state or they stay in New Jersey, that they can get these manufacturing jobs that pays great livable wages. It is very, very important. Partnerships work. Partnerships like we have with Community College of Mars, it works. It is a testament, not only what County College of Mars is doing right here in Mars County for the entire state, but for the entire country. And it should be an example. New Jersey MEP is the first MEP in the country to receive such a grant like this. So we are extremely, extremely proud of what we have accomplished. I am extremely proud of the work that I am doing. I'm extremely proud of our CEO for his visionary and his leadership and what we've accomplished thus far. I just want to mention the other responsibilities that we do have is for our consortium members to fast track them to become a part of the growing supply chain for Picatinny Arsenal, as well as when we upskill our individuals for them to become employed by our manufacturing partners, because obviously there's a need for more product when they become a part of the supply chain. So it's a great opportunity. I also want to acknowledge 2 of our partners, who is Bob Smythe, who is from Bridging the Gap, who please stand, who is a veteran from the United States Army, Thank you, Bob. Also,
We just joined the consortium as a nonprofit. Virginia Gap helps provide careers for veterans. We have many companies, some of which are here, but we're also helping to engage more companies with veteran spouses, National Guard, and Reserve Corps. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for supporting veterans, and we'll do whatever we can to help support the veterans we can.
Also, another one of our partners is Dave Hardgrave, who is a retired full-bird colonel for the United States Army. And
I'd really like to get a partnership with the college that we could get reservists here in these programs as well.
so, again, it's about relationships, it's about partnerships, it's about the vision that John had for New Jersey MEP and the continued work that we want to do to service our veteran communities and their families. So again, thank you to County College of Morris. Thank you to our CEO, John Kennedy, for your leadership. Thank you to Senator Testa, Senator Bucco, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill's office as well, Kelly, and to everyone here. Thank you all for being here and supporting us. Thank you.
Okay, our closing speaker, also a visionary, and I will say I've worked with numerous state departments of education, the United States Department of Education. He is first among the first when it comes to educational leadership, leadership over labor, and so forth. But he has stitched our 18 colleges very closely together in a way they've never been unified, and has allowed us to move very quickly around the state with these kind of programs. He's going to talk to you a little bit about NJ Pathways, which is getting tremendous national attention also. Please join me in welcoming the president of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges, Dr. Aaron Fichtner.
President Iacono, thank you very much for your leadership. I had the honor of working with 18 community colleges across the state, but it is always a special moment to be here at County College of Morris, because all 18 of our colleges all 17 of our other colleges look to CCM for leadership. So Tony, thank you, and to your incredible team here. I want to start just again by thanking Emerson and Lance for their comments, and to all the veterans for your service to our country. Thank you very much. As it was said by Emerson, we owe a debt of gratitude, not just in words, but in actions. And this grant today is another step forward in helping make sure that veterans and their families have incredible opportunities ahead of them. So thank you for your partnership and your commitment to working on this effort. I want to thank Senator Bucco for your incredible leadership. Senator Testa, thank you for coming all the way up here. We look forward to working with you on that resolution and making sure that the great work happening here at CCM is happening all over our great state. So thank you for being here. To Mikey Sherrill, Congresswoman's office, thank you for your leadership and vision. I know she is an incredible visionary when it comes to workforce development and education, and so thank you for being here and supporting this. And to John, special for me to be here to say, John, thank you personally for your friendship and partnership these last 8-9 years. It's been a long journey, and I appreciate all that you've done and all that you've taught me, not only about the importance of manufacturing, but the importance of working together in new ways. So thank you, John, very much. This is a really important day where we're celebrating the announcement of this really important grant, and you've heard so much about it. But I just want to reflect on a number of the key components that are really meaningful in this grant, that I think really help us push forward with a new vision of education and higher education in New Jersey. Number one, it's critically important. You heard that from many of our speakers, that our educational system is driven by the needs of our employers. And so the partnership with NJMEP and manufacturers who have put the sweat equity and the investment into working with all of us to make sure that the programs funded by this grant will lead to opportunities and will lead to great opportunities in manufacturing. So it's critically important that we are always driven by the needs of employers. Number two, We realize in community colleges, as exemplified by this grant, that we cannot do the work that we want to do alone. And so it's the partnerships with MEP, with veterans organizations, with community organizations that are critical to our mission in community colleges to expand economic opportunity for all New Jerseyans and to build the best, most innovative, productive workforce in the entire country. Number three, we are committed to understanding that we are one piece of the educational system. And so it's the partnerships with high schools, vocational technical high schools, training providers, four-year colleges and universities. We are an important step in the way of someone's journey to become all that they want to be and to get a job and to get a career. And last, as you heard before, it's critically important that we understand that many people will take very different paths to education and to careers, and that there has to be a building of a system of education that allows for on-ramps and off-ramps that allow people to get education and to continue to move up, to follow their dreams wherever they go. We know that we need to commit to getting more New Jerseyans a post-secondary degree or credential. Doesn't mean that we need to get everybody a four-year degree, but we need to get people the skills and the education that will allow them to have an education, to have a career that supports their family. And the work that's being done here at CCM really exemplifies that approach. So, President, thank you for that vision and leadership. 2 years ago, with support of the legislature and the governor, we launched our NJ Pathways to Career Opportunities Initiative, which is a unique partnership between the 18 community colleges and the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, but also 1,200 other partners across the state that have come together to embrace what we're learning about today, this new vision of how we work together to make sure that we have a skilled workforce and we expand opportunity. We have 10 centers of workforce innovation across the state that are working to develop new programs and new pathways to expand economic opportunity in manufacturing, which is being led here by CCM, data science, supply chain management, healthcare administration, technology, all of the key industries that are driving our state's economy. And we're excited by that work, working not only at community colleges, but with all of our key partners, again, driven by the needs of employers. So while we are here today to celebrate this really important grant and all of the impact that it will have, we are going to continue to look to CCM and to all of you to keep moving us forward as we build more pathways to economic opportunity for our veterans, for all of our citizens, for all of our residents, so that we will have that most productive, innovative workforce in the country that drives our manufacturing economy and our entire economy. So thank you all for being here, for your support of CCM, for your support of community colleges, and for your support of this grant. And I know that tremendously great outcomes will come out of this grant. But again, it's really the model that we are going to take statewide from this grant and our other efforts. So thank you all. Great to be here on this really important day. Thank you all.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for your time, for your attention, and for the collaboration and partnerships. This work, as you have been hearing, took a lot of people to get us in the room today. It'll take even more effort to make sure that this works very, very well. Lives are changed and communities are strengthened. So thank you, truly, all of you for that. My final announcement, let me say a very special thank you to Team CCM and Team NJMEP. John and I are really lucky to have great people wrapped around us, and they did a lot of work to organize today's event as well. One of the highlights of that is right around the corner, I believe. Correct? Okay. They're giving me the nod in the back. Is food. It's for you. Please enjoy lunch and a little bit of conversation with one another as well. Thank you so much.